I'll be there for you.
I'll be here, chat. I'll be here. Hey, I'm Marcus.
I'm Atrax.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, December 28th, 2023, and you can find this real 228 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away.
You can also find every single Working Class Nerds episode on YouTube. Just search for the Working Class Nerds podcast or go to youtube.com/@workingclassnerds. Click on playlist, click on Working Class Nerds, and boom! Every episode past and present right at your fingertips.
You can watch me completely rip that guy Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at kick.com/MarcusB814 and twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
You can also watch me play video games Friday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/A_Atrax.
And you can read Dorito's new creative writing project based on my non-existent streaming schedule in our Discord. So check the link in the show description for details on that.
And we're all on the social medias. I am at MarcusB814.
I'm at Atrax_A.
And I'm at Nick Vern. That's NACKVR. And in this week's episode, we are live and we're talking about the community's chosen game of the year. That's right, chosen by you, the listeners, the watchers, the nerds community. Your game of the year. We're talking about that.
It's the game of the year because it's the last episode. It's the last episode of the year, gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
I think this is the first full year of me being a host for the podcast, right? So I joined last year, I think.
Is it?
Oh.
160 something, I think. Was
Wait,
the
I don't have a
episode I joined.
soundboard?
Negatory. Yeah, this is going to be a quality run podcast tonight because Imperial Command wouldn't let him use the internet to host the show.
Dude, I'll make my own soundboard.
Oh, just so for all the audio listeners, Nick has been allowed to podcast this week, but only if he did it from Imperial Command. So he was not allowed.
It's because I have COVID. So I didn't go to work.
He was not allowed
today.
Yeah, so he was allowed to drive home and get his stuff.
Yeah, I went back to my apartment, cleaned my apartment, which is actually great, and then excuse me, and then grabbed my microphone and stuff.
Microphone.
But yeah,
I'm not even going to interject. Atrax, what have you been up to?
So this weekend, I finally did it. I finally beat Dark Souls 3.
Bum,
It
bum, bum,
happened.
bum, bum.
That game can finally suck it. It can go die. My personal enjoyment score, like 6 out of 10.
What?
Playing the game was like 6 out of 10. I know a lot of people in the community enjoyed watching me play it, but I don't know. It took me 21 hours, to beat the full game. The last boss, it was like the game is good, but it's just not for me. Like Sekiro is attacking and deflecting, like parrying and using the Makiri counter and dodging. So there's like all this fast-paced action, like combat stuff. Bloodborne, you have the mechanic where when you attack after getting hit, you gain some health back.
yeah.
So there's kind of that incentive to be a little bit more aggressive. Plus the gameplay style also has like your gun that you can use for parrying and stuff like that. I don't know. Dark Souls is just like, there is parry kind of, But the main idea is just dodge, 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 attack once, dodge, 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 attack again, dodge, dodge. And like the last boss, spoilers for anyone who hasn't or doesn't want to know about the last boss, skip ahead like a minute. But the last boss has 4 different move sets for the first phase. Like he can change from a ranged mage to this like long sword type guy with like great sword, you know. And then another one is he's more of like a spear. And then I just saw Nick's cup. Oh no.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Bro, no shot. That's the cup you have.
What are you talking about?
All right, so
It's
like
just my coffee mug.
I want to get into Dark Souls 3, but Nick's coffee mug says daddy on it. Okay?
Dude.
So is it dog daddy? Or is it like he's calling him daddy?
I think that was a gift from her.
Yeah, 100%.
The world may never know.
Oh,
No
my
shot
God.
you bought yourself that mug.
No, not a
No, I
chance.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, she
No.
bought, like this podcast just went weird.
Yeah.
Well,
That
I will
was-
say this: I am not a
had-
father.
Dude. Come on.
Oh,
We put the shovel down and you
wait, is
picked
that
it
his
right
way
back
of telling? Wait, is that his way of telling everybody that she's preggers?
No, that's
boy.
what I think. I'm not a father. Get it? 'Cause she's
All right,
not.
Maury.
It's-
We get it.
We get
Yeah,
it.
no.
Jeez, come on.
You are not the father. No, that's not a father. And not in general. Fine. No babies
Oh
around.
my goodness.
It's just a funny
He
mug.
said Maury, and I was thinking Morty.
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 Yeah.
Hey, come on, Morty.
All right. So,
shove him way up there, Morty.
so
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Dark Souls. So
So
first
Dark
and
Souls.
first and foremost, I loved watching Atrax get his fucking ass kicked over and over and over and over again. The reason why is because he watches me die so much, and the difference is he's a good gamer, I am a bad gamer. And seeing him struggle, most of the time when he was struggling, I was going, this would be awful if I was playing it. This would
Yeah.
be awful if I was playing it.
Is this? Can you put your finger on why Dark Souls 3 is so much harder? I think you might have talked about it last episode, but
So, like just straight up comparisons.
yeah.
Last boss of Dark Souls 3 took me roughly 4 hours. Last boss of Sekiro took me roughly 7 hours.
Okay.
So, from the time difference, technically speaking, you could say that Sekiro would be a harder game.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it more because, again, the combat felt more like there was more to do. There's attacking, there's parrying, there's the Makiri counter. Like I said a few minutes
Yeah.
ago, there's all these different things. Whereas Dark Souls is, I say it's boring. People are like, well, how can it be boring? You're dying, like you're not good at the game enough for it to be boring. I don't mean it's boring that it's easy. I mean it's boring in the sense of primarily what you're doing is just dodging attacks, memorizing the attack patterns, and then finding the windows that you can attack and do damage,
Okay.
and using those windows properly and not getting caught out by the enemy. So like somebody who knows the movesets really, really well and knows the choreography of the NPC, of
dance.
the boss, the dance, if you will, then for them it's boring in the sense of, well, I know what they're gonna do, so I know where to be, and I can easily dodge the attacks. For
Yeah.
me, learning it and coming in, I knew the Soul of Cinder was the final boss, but I didn't really know the attacks or anything like that. So for me, just learning it and the dodging, and again, it's just dodging, finding the right windows, getting punished for trying to abuse the wrong windows, those sort of things. For me, like the final boss was one of my least favorites playing the entire game.
Makes sense.
I've decided I will be playing the Ashes of Ariandel DLC. So it's kind of funny. So I find the gameplay very boring, fundamentally boring to play for me personally.
Okay.
But I think the game itself is well crafted. I would recommend it to people, and I understand why people like it. So overall, I give the game an 8 out of 10. So it's me playing the game personally, I feel it's more like a 6 for me. But overall, I think the game deserves an 8 out of 10 score because I think the game is well made, and I would recommend it to people. Because of that, I will be playing the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, and it includes one of my favorite boss fights in gaming ever, if not my favorite boss fight ever.
But you've never done it before?
But I've never gotten to it and actually played it. I've watched so much footage of this one boss in particular. It's the Sister Frida boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so I don't understand the full lore behind it, but basically the painted world is like a painting in Dark Souls 3 that then the painting itself is like its own world. So you touch a piece of the painting and you get sucked into the painting. And so you're in the painted world and it's falling apart, and it's, there's this whole lore behind why Sister Frida got stuck there and she's guarding the world, and there's all this stuff. Anyway, so you go into the boss fight and you talk to this one guy, Father Ariandel, and he says bring me my flail, it's ready, it's fight time. And Frida comes in and she's like, don't worry, Father, avert your eyes, I'm gonna fight, it's cool. So then that's phase 1. So you fight Frida, and the music is really good, and the area is kind of narrow. She has attacks where she'll go invisible, and you need to use the sound cues to dodge the attack to know when the right time to dodge is. So then you fight her, beat her.
Excuse me.
Then Father Ariandel looks up because she said hey, avert your eyes, and then it's all quiet because you killed her. So he looks up and he sees her dead, and he gets pissed off. He revives her. Now you have to fight the both of them. And he got pissed off and he smashed his cauldron down, and there's fire everywhere, and it takes this small narrow corridor and the walls burn down, and now it's this big giant open, it's kind of like a church-like arena.
Yeah.
And so then you fight the both of them, and you beat the both of them, and it's oh man, finally. And it gives you the boss fight, I forget exactly what it is, flame extinguished or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're oh dude, finally. Oh my goodness. And then you hear some voices and the music starts up again. And then you fight Frida a third time, and she has she has the combined powers of her, which she had ice, and then fire from Father Ariandel, and you fight her in her final form, and the music gets all fast paced and dude, I will legit just listen to the soundtrack of that fight because I know the different transitions and stuff.
Jesus Christ.
It's such a cool boss fight to me, even though I've never actually. So now I have to go and play it so that I can say I beat it and it's officially my favorite boss in any game. I don't know. I just think it's a really, really well-designed boss. The lore behind it, everything that leads up to it is really good. But the base game of Dark Souls 3, not for me. But I would recommend it to other people. And that's my Dark Souls experience.
Well, congratulations on beating it.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't have to, play more of the base game.
Play it anymore.
I get it about wanting to be thorough and play the DLC also, but
yeah. Well, and it's something that a lot of people in the community love, and a lot of people have told me to play. So it's, I think it's been time for me to play it.
I was just going to say, so you play so many games and you replay so many games that people want to see you play a game you've never played or never beaten. And it was enjoyable to watch. I liked going back and watching a couple of the VODs. I just liked seeing you get punished. And I talk about it. I think I talked about it a couple episodes again, and then I mentioned it again. There was that one fight where we were all in it. I messaged Feta. He's watching it. And the guy goes to lunge with his sword. And, like, he cut, like, the side of his hair off of his head. And Atrax had a 1 HP, and he just went and killed him. And it was like, and he was just about to swing again, and it was like dead. So I do get it.
Good times, man. That's going to happen rewarding. To you, too. You're going to have that boss, for sure. Good old champion, Gundyr.
Oh, I've got a lot to say about that.
I can't wait to hear it.
Bosses.
You can do it.
You can do it.
This week, I also, with the long weekend, I got my racing wheel working. I bought it from my coworker. He gave me a good deal on it.
Sweet.
Dirt Rally 2.0 in VR with a wheel is
nice.
Super, super fun.
Wow.
And I had a really fun time just like screwing around and driving around in rally cars and in the snow. And oh my goodness, it was a lot of fun. I've been trying to work on recording the gameplay. The original, like the base FOV is really, really weird. And it's almost like in the roof of the car. So I have to work with the software and the game FOV and stuff like that to really figure out how to get it centered
like
properly.
in the driver's seat?
I do, yeah.
Got it.
But once I do, I hope to get to make videos like that with the Lethal Company, like helmet cam style.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with my Quest 3 and doing stuff in VR and also recording stuff and trying to make videos. But again, the FOV is kind of whack, so I need to take it and work with it. But it's a lot of fun. VR is actually insane. I recommend anybody considering getting a Quest 3, go ahead. Like, even if you want it instead of a PlayStation or an Xbox, you can. It's its own system, you know? You don't need a PC. Wow. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, dude. Even just the simple games like golf and bowling. Good times in VR. We finally made it. It's that time, gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
It's Game of the Year news!
You know, Marcus, instead of making the noise with your mouth, there's a button you can press for some real air horns.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot about that, okay.
Anticlimactic.
That's okay. Anyway, it's Game of the Year news, and this is the... Okay.
I was trying to get him.
What?
This is the last episode of the year. Nick is under Imperial command already.
No, I'm grabbing cough drops out of my backpack.
I'm just messing with you. This is the last episode of the year, and we started doing Game of the Month this year, a new thing for the show. We started back in June. Excuse me.
Ow.
We started back in June doing Game of the Month with CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It wasn't even Counter-Strike 2 at the time.
Nope, just
Counter-Strike
regular
Global Offensive. Yep. Good old regular CSGO. And then in July, we jumped in the bunkers together with BattleBit Remastered. That was July's Game of the Month. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, man, I need a medic. I need a medic over here, man. You got to get me up.
Good times. Good times.
People would respond to it, too. They'd be laughing.
I know, yeah. Good old voice chat. I still load that game up every once in a while. And people respond to it. It's kind of funny. Then in August, we uncovered obscure secrets in Guild Wars 2. They had released that expansion August 22nd. So that was our Game of the Month for August. Then in September, we became Wayfinders. Wayfinder was kind of the big thing for a while. Ray played it a ton. Marcus played it a ton. I played it a ton.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
It was. good times. It was very good times. Then in October, game of the month was Dota 2. We watched the Dota 2 International, had a lot of watch parties, and a lot of you in the community showed up. So shout out to all of you who showed up for those watch parties. It was a great time. We even started a Dota 2 guild, which kind of fell off, but still there's people there. I talk to them every once in a while. We still group up for Dota 2. So if you play Dota 2 and you're in the Working Class Nerds community, join the Working Class Nerds Dota 2 guild. And then last month, we had the free-to-play sandbox RPG Albion Online, which was a lot of fun. At the SM Playboy was the one who showed me that game. Good friend of the show, had him on a couple times. He played it for a while. We played a little bit together. And then, but his guild was like on the other side of the continent. So, it is what it is. Yeah, but I still play it, still log in. I have a month left of the subscription. I think once it runs out, I'm going to switch over to WoW. I've been having a real itch to play WoW. I've had the self-control to not because I just bought a ton of games during the Steam sale, but WoW is calling my name. Who knows? We'll see. And then this month of December. Your heart, man. I know, right? Maybe I will. And then all this month of December, we have been sharing our Game of the Year picks. Marcus with Elden Ring, Nick with The Witcher 3, myself with Counter-Strike. And now it's your turn. We've tallied the votes. We've heard what the Working Class Nerds community has said.
Marcus, hit the drum roll, please. No, there's a button. There's a literal button.
And the Working Class Nerds Game of the Year is Baldur's Gate 3.
See, Marcus is just not hitting the buttons out of spite now.
That's okay.
Just
we don't need it.
We can make our own sounds for the community.
Sad,
our sounds,
out of key.
Yeah, but that's the best.
Yeah, no melody.
That's how people know I produce the show and not you. So when they think the show is better, they're going to say that's when Marcus does it.
All right. Whatever.
It's going to be one or the other. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
50-50
Working Class
shot.
Nerds Game of the Year. Voted by popular opinion. All of you. Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I've played it quite a bit. We'll talk about we will read all of your submissions, why you chose the game that you did. Also, the other nominees from the community. We'll read those after the break. So stick around and be sure to hear all of that. But Baldur's Gate 3 is the Working Class Nerds Community Game of the Year, and it will be the Game of the Month for January 2024.
Whoa!
And going forward, I think that's how I would like to do it. I've thought about it quite a bit, is Game of the Year for whatever year it is, then that'll be the first Game of the Month.
Sounds like a good idea.
Get the community involved. Everybody's excited. Everybody's had the holiday break, all of that good stuff. So, yeah, next month, January, first month of the year, dive into Baldur's Gate 3. It is a insanely detailed RPG. And
it's a turn-based RPG, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to check out Baldur's Gate 3.
It's a lot of fun. I've played it for, 5 hours or something like that so far.
I feel like it would be more fun to play like weekly with a party. Like almost treat it like a D&D event.
Yeah. It is. And it's a good mix of turn-based, and then also you can explore the world and do stuff, so it's half turn-based, half not. And there's an insane, like I said, it's insanely detailed. There's an insane amount of different avenues and stuff you can go through. Avenues. Yes.
Avenues.
So, yeah, get involved. We'd love to hear more about Baldur's Gate 3, and we will after we hear about Marcus. Marcus, what have you been up to this week, man?
My daughter's gymnastics got canceled because her coach is flying back and her flight got delayed. So she had no practice tonight. So we decided to do a movie trip. Kids got me for Father's Day like a $50 gift card to the movie theater. And
Nice.
so we went and saw Trolls 2. But I was all excited. We brought the candy in. We brought drinks for the kids. You know, I got the giant popcorn. Got the kids a small popcorn. Carrie had a snack. Everything was good. The setting was great. The leather seats reclined. They weren't broken. We are dead center of the theater. We're about 40 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, a group of 6 teenagers came in the theater.
Oh, boy.
And so, they left a movie and came into this one.
Right.
Right? And they came in and they were in front of us, and they all kind of sat down, and then a few of them stood up and came up into our aisle and decided to sit next to me. And so there was a group of 6 people, 6 teenagers, and they started talking and swearing a ton. If you guys know me, I don't take that shit at all.
Yeah. Yeah, not with your kids right there. What the hell?
No.
It's also Trolls 2.
Like,
It's like
well,
clearly a
that's
kid's movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, what are you doing? So these people came in and disturbed.
Place.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't give a shit, dude. They
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if their parents were there, they would have beat the shit out of them, right? Like, how are you acting like this? So they were swearing a ton, and I got loud, and I was like, "Excuse me, my little kids are sitting right here," and they all looked at me, and they were like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
So about 5 minutes went by, and a couple of them started going crazy again. Carrie looked at me, and she knew what was coming. And she's like, let's just move. Let's just move. Let's just move. And I was like, no, we're good. Because then they were like, in Trolls, they're like singing and dancing, like, woo! Like, so it's really loud in the theater, so you can't hear them.
Yeah.
As soon as the music was over, one of the teens was like, yo, motherfucker, you want to do this shit right now? And just started screaming and yelling. Bro, I stood up. And I was like, you guys need to chill the out. I have 2 little kids right here.
Yeah.
And one of them moved, and they were like, shh. And one of the boys was like he's like, I'm so sorry, sir. We're trying to get the girls to shut up, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm sorry. It continued, and I was going to lose it, and Carrie was like, let's just move. So we moved to the end where another mom and their little kids was sitting, and Carrie was like, I'm so sorry we're invading your space. She's like, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Like, so when we left, we got home, Julia, my daughter, was like, Daddy, why were they so rude? Like, we're in a movie theater. Like, why are you screaming? I was like, Julia,
Right.
because people don't have respect. But the point is, I had some movie drama. So when I came home, like, I'm not one to ever complain, right? I wouldn't consider myself a complainer.
Yeah.
But that was like my kids the whole way home weren't talking about how good the movie was. They were talking about how rude those people were.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
Experience kind of ruined. Yeah.
Movie
Right.
theater is like a sacred behavioral spot for me. I get super irritated. I've told people to put their fucking phone away. Or
Well,
I'll put
that's
it
what I'm
somewhere
saying.
That's
where-
the reason I just watch them at home. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
but dude, like, you remember being, well, maybe not you, but like, I remember being a little kid. Like, when my mom said, let's go to the movies, dude, you were pumped. You knew you
yeah.
were getting popcorn, candy, and it was no holds barred. If you ate that whole bag of candy, mom didn't care.
Right,
no,
and it was
dude,
just like
I loved
it was
the
a
movies
whole
as a kid.
yeah, it's a whole spectacle. It's a whole
Right.
event.
Right. So,
The movies are awesome and sacred.
Right.
and don't fuck it up.
yes. And so these kids definitely did. And again, I'm with my kids. I didn't say anything to anybody at the theater because, like,
Yeah.
I know the way the world works and right now. And if I get heated, I don't need that. So when I got home, I actually called Cinemark and I was like, hey, look it. this is what happened. Like, I'm not irate. I'm not mad. I'm just disgusted. They're like, well, did you go get the police that were there or somebody that works here? I was like, no, I'm not going to cause a scene in front of my little kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is not my job to police your theater to see if on your camera somebody is coming in. Like,
right.
in skipping through to a movie. You know what I mean?
Right. That's your job, not
That's
mine.
your job. But I was like, look at it, but I wouldn't care. But this is a kid's movie. And my kids drove home not talking about how bad those kids were, not talking about how good the movie was. So, needless to say, they comped us all the 4 tickets back.
That was
and they put extra in there for the next popcorn to be on us. Them.
No. Well, that was nice.
That's good. At least they made it right.
Well, they made it right, but like as soon as the movie was over, like the end credits were going, and we were like, "Let's get out of here." You know what I mean? Like
course.
The whole experience sucked, and I found out my local movie theater, just closed a little while ago. The one in Enfield, Nick.
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah, I saw that when I was looking at Godzilla -1. Showtime.
Oh yeah, which they didn't have reclining seats, but that was always like the go-to theater to like have a good experience.
Yeah, because it was closer. Yeah.
It's not even that.
Honestly, not even closer.
It's not even closer, but like you knew you would always go there for a good experience because like the people that went there were like movie people, like Nick was saying.
Yeah, like that's true. There's like not as busy, so you can, so your chance of not having anybody screwing around is way higher.
Right. Okay, that's my movie drama. Now to the real shit, everybody. I am 100% addicted to Elden Ring. Elden Ring may be the hardest but best game I've ever played.
Okay.
What I mean by that is the game is so hard and so frustrating, but the dopamine hit you get when you win is incredible.
Yeah.
It hits all of my spots. So, like, I'll give an example. I love playing video games with people, but what I'm really realizing is I just like being social. I don't necessarily have to be playing a video game with somebody, but Elden Ring makes the game solo, me, but it also enables the chat to talk to me. So it's like I'm getting my social aspect of it. Also playing one of the most unbelievable games I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so unfair. And I'm using the word unfair because that's how it all started back in March at PAX East. And it's bothered me since. And now, like, A-Trax doesn't give me a lot of compliments about gaming, but he said Marcus doesn't suck as bad as I thought he was gonna, or something of that.
Yeah, like you're farther along than I thought you would be at this point. Yeah.
Right, but I love it. And what I'm realizing, too, is as much as I love SWTOR in its way and Destiny in its way, I think I like this style of game more. And maybe because it's like there's chill time where you're like exploring, picking up like items or like trying to find something. Okay, now I got to fight an enemy. Okay, beat that enemy and move on to the next place and explore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no dumb mechanic in the game, right? There's no stupid VAT system like in Fallout. There's no, well, I'm using it as an example, Nick. But like that's like, or it's not turn-based. It's pure exploration and combat.
I can't say there isn't anything dumb in the game because guaranteed you're going to run into something or probably multiple things. And you're going to be like, dude, why would they include, this is the dumbest, like that's how I felt about Soul of Cinder. Like they put this in here to be hard for the most like bullcrap reason. This is stupid. Why would they ever do this?
What I meant
is that though.
No, I'm sure I will, but what I'm saying is the game mechanic is simple in the sense of there's a soldier. You need to kill that soldier, and you need to dodge, parry, or roll. And swing your sword.
Right.
It's combat. It's not like I'm going to go back to Fallout because I've been doing it for 6 years. Oh, my God, dude. It's 6 years today.
Oh, it is.
It's the 28th.
It's our 6-year anniversary.
Holy shit.
Can you find the button
6
for crying out loud?
years of
I don't
the
know
show.
where it is.
Wow, 6 years of the show.
No kidding.
That's crazy.
You click media on the bottom. Like where it's people, chat, media.
Okay. Well, is this one better?
And then you got to click live instead of preview.
Well, this can't just be real 228. This has to be 6-year anniversary now.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow. Well, it is episode 228, the real one. But anyway, so I forgot what I was saying because I just realized the date. Oh, but like in Fallout, you zoom in with a gun to somebody's head and you can lock on 3 shots to the head and it doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
that's all Bethesda games. Like Starfield's like that, too.
Right,
it's
sure.
silly.
But like this game, you may, like when you hit him, it shows his health bar and you may not kill him, but it's just that simple. You're swinging your sword or waving your wand around like you're Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. And the more I get into the game, the more deep of like lore and actual story there is. Because I went somewhere, I have no idea where. I went somewhere where I wasn't supposed to, and I found that Alexander guy. He's like this big like cup with arms. And I found him in a cave, and he's like, hey, dude, remember me? And I was like, oh, my God. But then I couldn't beat the boss, and I left. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm like, I love it. Next is, so I've been playing the game for 15 hours, I think. I'm gonna confirm that while Jamie's. I'm gonna check that. Oh shit! Never mind. I played it for 12 hours, so I'm about 20 hours into the game.
Okay.
Because I played it for like 10 hours the last time, and it was awful. But anyway, so I went into Stormveil Castle. Last weekend, I beat Margit. He was at the gate of the castle. And then I went into the castle, and this is like, what do they call it, Atrax? A legacy dungeon?
I don't know. Wait, what?
What they call Stormveil Castle something. It's not just a regular dungeon.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. Honestly.
All right. Well, anyway, it's a massive, it's like a real dungeon. Like, and let me tell you, the fucking castle is huge. There's so many places you can go and explore. It's like you're really in a real castle. Like, it's not a linear path at all. Like, anytime I go into a room, I always take the beeline to the left or to the right to say, oh, where's this going to take me? Because it always takes you somewhere. So then I found this Crucible Knight, and let me tell you, he's in red armor. This dude fucked me up so many times to the point of, like, I actually was getting frustrated. And that's what's nice about this game is, like, okay, I'm getting pissed off. I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
So then I come back and I start walking, and oh, guess what? There's birds with sword feet, and they throw fucking exploding barrels at you. Like, okay, like, who in the fuck thinks of that? Like, really, truly, who thinks of that? And I know the studio does. But, like,
dude,
like the birds with swords on the feet aren't enough. They got to throw exploding barrels at you. And
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course they do.
Right. Of course. So I had so much fun running through there, but my weak point against enemies in this game are the knights with shields and swords. Like, they're like the traditional Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls enemies. Those are my weakness. Like, they mess me up. Like, a regular knight destroys me.
I wonder why. Like, there must be a specific pattern that you're not following or something.
I think it's because, right. I think that's what it is. I think I still don't understand the full mechanic of the game.
Yeah.
And when or I'm over eager. So, like, if I can get one good hit and roll away, I always go for 2. And then once they hit you, then they hit you again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like kind of snowballs.
Right. But shout out to the community. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the key with the knights and this is one thing that I think you could benefit from getting better at overall, is backstabs. Like, instead of going for a backstab, you'll go for a heavy attack to an enemy's back. You know,
I don't know how to do that.
You walk up to them, behind them, and you do a normal attack, and it'll do an animation of like you stabbing them in the back with the weapon or something like that. And you can do the same. So, like, for a knight, it'll attack, right? And you dodge kind of into them to where you roll slightly behind them, and then you can backstab them while they're recovering from their animation.
Okay, so if I'm just controller thinking.
Right.
So here's my Xbox controller, right?
Yeah.
So you have your heavy attack, which is the big trigger, and your bumper is that. So you're saying go up from behind them and just hold down the light attack?
You don't hold it, you just click it.
So I go behind him and just click.
Yeah, but you need to be like, you know,
on top of him. Yeah.
Like, right. Yeah, like behind him.
Okay. I will try that.
If I know for sure it's in Sekiro. I don't know if they did it in Elden Ring, but if you're sneaking up on an enemy and you have them like locked on, you used your right thumbstick to lock onto them. If you walk up close enough to them, the dot will go from white to red, and that will signify that you can do a backstab.
I don't know if this game does that.
Crit damage.
Well, I'll have to check that out, and I appreciate you telling me because I always thought the crit damage was my heavy attack.
Marcus, one other thing too, I don't know if this is relevant. Ajax, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember this being a thing with Jedi Survivor. Pay attention to which hand the enemy is holding the shield in too, because you should be dodging away from the shield if you're trying to like find an opportunity like that, because that whatever side the shield is on, they have more coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I always dodge
if you're looking
into
at
the
me,
weapon hand.
You want to dodge like weapon hand side.
That's a good. Yeah. So these are all the things that I'm taking because I've never done stuff like this. Like, there's no easy mode. This is the only mode.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, regardless to say, last night I got home from work and I was like, I'm going to do a bonus stream. I thought about playing Elden Ring all day at work. I came home and I worked from 6:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. And I still came home and turned on the computer and I started streaming about 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, short stream. It's not going to be long. Well, then I got
Famous
into.
Last words.
Yep. It's like, oh, we're going to the bar tonight. I'm not getting drunk.
Nope.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
time.
Yeah. So long story short, actually, I don't care. I made it to Godric, which is the first real boss of the game.
Okay.
And
second.
Well, he's the first, like...
Margit's the first.
Well, right, but he's the first, like, real boss where you get, like, that, like, special item at the end.
Yeah, I guess I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, Margit's your first real boss, but, Godric is, like, the, I don't know how to put it.
I think he's a great... Or Elden Lord or something.
He's an
like
Elden
that.
Lord, right? He was my first like real Elden Lord boss. But
yeah.
So I went in there and I watched a video or two on it, but really truly like I didn't really watch too much. And I got him to half health, and he went into phase 2. This dude chopped off his arm and used some magic shit and put a dragon on his arm. And when he did that, like, I saw the video of it, and I was like, no. Like, that's not that big of a deal. But being in that arena with that guy, and he starts shooting fire out of his arm with the dragon, I was like, no fucking way. Okay? So... First things first is shout outs to everybody that's been watching the stream. And of course, there's always the people that are like, hey, you shouldn't use what's in the game to beat the boss. Because you get that sometimes. And that's that get good mentality. And I don't really play that. Well, if the game gives you something to use in the game, use it. Right?
Yeah.
I believe that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But one comment, I think it was Jay Enigma, said, you should go into the fight a couple times by yourself to see what the fight is actually like, because you'd be surprised that you could go in the fight and realize, oh, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? And I can do this by myself. Or there's going to be some fights where you're like, holy shit, I need a summons and like I need help, because the game allows you to do those things.
Yeah.
So from this point forward, when I go to a boss, I'm going to go in a few times and I am going to see how the boss mechanics work. But I will 100% use all the avenues of the game, because I don't care if I'm the best Souls player ever. I've never played a game like this.
Yeah.
Now, if I beat the game or by the end of the game, I'm like, I don't need it. Great. But if I beat the game and I'm like, dude, I want to try to solo everything, I do New Game Plus solo with no help.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Because the game is giving you something because they're telling you the game is hard.
Right.
Absolutely.
And some of the people that are like, oh, I don't use summons or anything, well, they're like an Atrax who's beat every Souls game possible, and they understand the mechanics.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know who said it to me. It might have been Atrax said it to me today or last night. He said, the game is hard enough for you. Now you want to make it harder? Play the game the way it's intended to be played.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to prove anything.
Yeah.
Just play the game.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Right. So the last thing is, last night it felt really good. Like, it gave me, I don't know how I'm trying to say it. Like, I felt good that I beat that castle. Like, it's always been like that, like the cloud in the sky, like, oh, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm never going to get out of this area. And I did it, and it felt really good. I'm really excited for the next steps. And I'll be honest, we did Clan Night on Tuesday. It's just meh. It's the same content. You know what I mean? Like, I love playing Destiny with my friends, but right now, like Elden Ring, there's so much new that, like, everywhere you turn, it's something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, like, Destiny's seasonal content is just every week you're doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where
I
once
get
the
it.
expansion comes out, that's going to be a different story because that's brand new. You know what I mean? Same thing, like, even in SWTOR, I was never able to do dailies and all that stuff because that didn't excite me. And now I'm finding this game and I'm just like, wow. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting all the Souls games on my
Wish list.
wish list. And as they come on sale, I'm going to buy them all because I think this is my path moving forward.
That's great, man.
All
I'm
right.
happy for you. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
I'm happy
Yeah,
to hear
like,
that.
and I've been playing video games all by myself and not anything. Anyways, last thing, PlayStation 5 with Ryan Christmas was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we got the new Sonic game. It's actually pretty legit. If anybody has a console and you want the new Sonic game, it's actually pretty good. It's 2D. It's 3D, but it's like side-scrolling. It's actually really, really good. Like, nostalgia of the
Ding, ding,
old...
ding, 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 ding. I love the ring noises.
Yeah. Yes. Like, it's all that nostalgia, and, like, it sets way back, and then it pulls forward. It's a really good game. But my next thing I'm gonna buy is I'm gonna buy Bloodborne on the
Yeah. If you subscribe to PlayStation Plus, I believe it comes with it.
is that PlayStation Plus their online gaming?
Yeah.
Or is that an
Yeah,
extra cost on top of that?
No, it's just with it.
$15 a month.
I think it's less than that. I thought it was $60 a year.
I think
Oh,
there's
maybe.
different tiers.
So you get
Yeah.
Anyways.
They have like a whole bunch of different subscriptions now, but I know it's PlayStation Plus is the one that comes with Bloodborne. Or if not, like it goes on sale. It's probably on sale right now. You could probably get it for like $10.
Maybe. But can we just talk about this while I have the controller in my hand?
Yeah.
When the PlayStation tells you to hit X, I am hitting X on the Xbox controller because that is the correct location for X. I fuck up every single move possible. Just for the record.
That's funny.
Okay. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to be an Elden Lord. And Nick, what have you been up to?
Well, first I should point out the location change. So I have COVID. I got the old COVID sometime over the holidays. Tested positive yesterday, and I was working from remotely anyways, as I do most Wednesdays, from Imperial Command, aka TK427's house, aka Taylor's house. And so I just stayed here. I went back to my apartment today. Thankfully, I don't feel terrible. Obviously, I'm on the show. So I have like a little bit of a scratchy throat, some stuffy nose, generally kind of tired feeling, but not too bad.
Yeah, you got the man flu.
Yeah. I'm sure you've heard me coughing slightly throughout the show. I'm drinking a tea out of my mug here.
Your daddy mug.
His daddy mug.
Yeah, daddy. We should just call him daddy for the rest of the show.
Daddy Nick.
No, just daddy.
Just daddy. All right.
Wait, can I do this again? So, daddy, what have you been up to?
What's Daddy been up to this week?
All right. Well, you made it weird. As if it wasn't already weird. I think I made it weird with the mug. But anywho, yeah. So I'll be here the rest of the weekend, which is fine. Well, I don't have to be, but I think it's better. I got video games here, and why not? It's awesome. So
because you're domesticated.
Yeah.
Duh.
Speaking of video games. I think it's always better to be sick with somebody else around. You know, not that I need anything, but it's just like nicer for someone to be
I
like,
don't know,
dude.
I hate
do you
it.
need
when
a blanket?
people No, dude, I hate that. When I'm laying in bed with a headache and snot dripping down my face and I'm miserable, the last thing I want is someone going, "Oh, do you need anything? Like, leave me the hell alone. I just want to die."
Yeah,
I can't stand people fussing over me when I'm sick, man. I can't relate.
Well,
if
I'm in bed, that's different. If I'm like on the couch, that's you know what I mean. Depends on the level of sick, I guess. But yeah, if you're trying to just like sleep and or be miserable in the dark, then that's different. But in gaming news, I finished work because I worked remotely yesterday, and then got to jam some not Call of Duty. God of War Ragnarok, which was awesome. Got to sing a good 2-3 hours into that, and I'm like hooked. Like the first time I tried to play it, I wasn't like, I think I was going from The Witcher 3 to that, and I just wasn't ready for the new lore. You know what I mean? This time, I like watched like the recap of the previous game, God of War PS4, and then like actually got into it, and now I'm like in the thick of things and remembered the combat, and I'm like stringing combos together and having fun with it, and yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah, Christmas was good too. I had besides me, the resulting COVID, but no, I had a lot of fun Christmas Eve. I got some cool stuff Christmas from different folks. I got a cool Star Wars cookbook. It's like the Galaxy's Edge one. They have different stuff that you can buy at Galaxy's Edge. And I'm definitely going to make some of that stuff. Like, I thought one of the things you can make is like the portion bread that Rey gets in The Last Jedi. Or excuse me, the first one there. Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
One quanta potion. And then she gets the stuff that grows out of it. That was cool. Just some drinks too, like a couple cookies and stuff. It's cool to have like Star Wars themed things, so I'll be making that too. I also got this beanie and this hoodie, and I will say, if you like a nice hoodie, like I usually just buy like a whatever hoodie. It's just like, I think one of those them fashion hoodies that them new fandangled devices the kids have. I don't know where I was going with that. But you know what I'm trying to say, like streetwear or whatever. My mom bought it. It's like Comfort brand, COMFRT. and it's super heavy and like I don't know, it's just everything's nicer, you know.
Actually, I know a lot about this. So that brand is the work rival of Carhartt. So it's literally like $20 less a hoodie than Carhartt, but the quality is matched, if not better. I know all about the hoodies. I know that brand. Because that's what we fought. So originally they were going to buy us the cheapest hoodies they could get for work. And we stood up and we were like, we want Carhartt. We want Carhartt. And then the HR rep messaged me and was like, hey, I got this comfort brand. And I started reading the reviews, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we got it. It's quality shit. Yep.
Yeah, no, this hoodie is like, it's wicked nice. Like the cuffs are way thicker. Like the whole thing feels thicker than a normal hoodie.
Thicker.
The proportions are like actually long enough. Like for me, I have a long torso. Like I'm 6 feet tall, but my inseam for pants is only like a 30, 32. So, if you ever like tried men's pants on, that's not very tall in terms of pants. So I got a long torso and shorter legs for somebody who's 6 feet tall. So hoodies, usually I'll get like an XL and they'll be like almost a belly shirt. So like this one's not. It fits properly, which is nice. But
it fits the domesticated Nick belly in it.
Exactly. But no, actually, I'm domesticated Nick is skinnier, which is kind of shocking, frankly, because I don't eat any less. But,
well, you might be. It might be you
eating
might.
bitter.
It's just more stress from the Imperial regimen.
Standard issue Imperial.
Yes.
Nutrition is better. But I was gonna say one other thing. I've been watching. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, I'm going to go back to your COVID thing. It's not nice that you have COVID. Don't take it that way. But it's also kind of good that you do have COVID because, like, that means you and TK427 are just going to be able to, like, cook a nice dinner on New Year's Eve and just, like, chill out, have a bottle of wine. Well,
get to work from home.
Right. Not New Year's Eve, but I'm saying you guys can do, like, something really nice, just the two of you on New Year's Eve, and you don't feel pressure to, like, go out with your friends.
Yeah, that's true, too. And just have a low-key
You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're an old man. I'm just saying that, like, it'll actually be kind of nice, like, do something nice.
Yeah, it's do something low-key. It's definitely, I definitely enjoy that.
But, like, cook a dope-ass dinner and, like, you know what I mean? Light those Gothic candles that are sitting on the table behind you and, like, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Those are fake for the record, but yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
I do.
Get out the fine china. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Last thing for me, I think I said this last week too, but I've been watching a lot of Critical Role, the D&D like video podcast with the voice actors. And it just makes me want to play D&D. I think I'm playing a one-shot D&D game via Discord with Joey Feta either the 5th or 6th. It's a Friday or Saturday of January.
Well, the other thing, too, Nick, in AIE, they have the D&D section, and they run one-off D&D groups and a weekly group. Like,
that's cool.
It's like, jump in there. I think there's like 3 or 4 different dungeon masters that run them.
Cool.
And the game of the year, Working Class Nerds Game of the Year is a D&D style game, 10% off right now, $54.
I know. That's what I was going to transition into. Is like maybe I should.
Can we just
making
say
me want to play Baldur's Gate 3?
I'm just saying, man.
But Nick is gonna. Hey, when we asked Nick 5 years from now if he's a console gamer or a PC gamer, he's gonna say console because he's gonna be playing so much on the PlayStation. So now you wouldn't buy Baldur's Gate on the PS5?
No, because I'm playing God of War. Once I finish God of War, then I would.
Yeah.
By the time I finish God of War, I'll have my PC here, and then I'll just buy it on PC.
Oh, sure.
Because I would also want to play it with Joey Feta, who would be playing on PC.
Right. Oh, I have a question about God of War too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the game so far? How many hours are you in? What do you think of it so far in comparison to the first?
It's pretty similar. It sort of picks up where the first left off. I don't think the moves are dramatically different. Like, the systems are all pretty much... It almost gives me, like, it's like Spider-Man 2. Like, the systems are largely the same, but it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there is I thought in the plot it's interesting. Like some stuff happens early on where, you have some minor combat, so you learn the basics, and then you have something in the plot that happens and your shield gets broken, so you can't use your shield at all. So and then it shows you, okay, here's how you dodge. You can do a regular dodge, or you can do it if you double tap it, you can actually roll out of the way, and so it forces you to oh, now you got to realize that you not only can you just block stuff, but you have to dodge too. And I thought that was a cool way to teach you, different mechanics.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I like it. I like it. The plot is a little bit more interesting because you already kind of got the rundown on the Norse mythology, and now now stuff's happening within that framework. You weren't really sure of the framework, but in the first game, but now in the second one, you're like, okay, here's what we're working with, and now stuff's happening, and there's conflict and stuff. So. I'm interested to see where it goes. I think there might be some timey-wimey type things going on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All
awesome.
Right, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time is Guild Wars 2 mandatory fun night, and Tuesday nights it's a split. Mandatory fun night, where first is Clan Night, 9 p.m. Eastern in Destiny 2, and 9 p.m. Eastern is Star Wars The Old Republic's mandatory fun night, where the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not. And then we cannot forget about Saturday Night Lotro with Mei Lung, friend of the show, 8 p.m. Central, which is 9 p.m. Eastern. They do their mandatory fun night in Lord of the Rings Online. So if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, get our Discord information, ask for a guild invite, whether or not you play SWTOR, Destiny, Guild Wars 2, or Lord of the Rings Online, or you just want to talk Elden Ring. Well, guess what? We would love to have you.
And with that,
go ahead, Nick.
And with that,
I gotta pee.
And
so we'll be right back.
My God, what is taking him so goddamn long?
Nick, hurry up, man.
It's all that beer you're drinking. Come on, bro.
Bros before hoes, man.
And we're back. So today we're talking about the game of the year chosen by none other than the Nerds community. That's right. You chose it. It's the game you picked.
It's all of you and your working class nerds reviews.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to start it out. If you guys want to read it, I'll just say, Failsafe's cute little PogChamp is Obi. Longtime
Obi
friend of the
Trice.
show.
Real
And
name,
Obi
no
Trice.
gimmicks.
Yeah. His pick was Baldur's Gate 3.
Why, Marcus?
Okay.
It's a game that teleported me back to my childhood and the inane amounts of fun that I had playing the RPGs of the early 2000s. Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Diablo 2, Dungeon Siege, etc. The amount of love and passion that went into the game, which you can feel when you play the game, with every subsequent patch is immense. It's truly one of those games where you can legitimately think, that's what a game should be. No microtransactions, no always online bullshit, pure, unadulterated fun. You could do so much in the game in terms of creativity, it's insane. It's a giant adult playground. You can start up the game and then all of a sudden you've spent 7 hours in it and you don't know how. It has some banger multiplayer as well. You can get up to... where was I? You can get up to a lot of very silly shenanigans and co-op. It's not even Larian's first banger of a game. They have the Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 as well. This is truly a company that deserves all the love and support they get. Just typing this up is making me a bit emotional. Other notable games that should be recognized, in my opinion, The Finals, Lies of P, Backpack Hero, Neon White, Remnant, From the Ashes 2. Thanks, Obi. That's crazy.
I would love to hear why the finals deserves a notable game in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Well,
thank you for typing up all of that because I agree. It is a giant adult playground.
What I'll say about the finals, it's because the finals did something new and fresh for a first-person shooter.
How so?
Which is?
Well, the whole like gimmick of it. You're going into a match and you're like on TV and like it's a digital copy of yourself, and the gameplay, like, I don't know, it just feels different to me. I've never physically played it, but I've watched a shit ton of people play it, and it definitely feels different. Like, not your standard issue Battle Royale, not your standard issue Call of Duty multiplayer. It's just different to me.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But the
But
thing
thank
about
you for sharing.
Yeah, what I'm going to say about that is what the way he types it is truly when somebody gets immersed in the game, kind of like me right now with Elden Ring or Nick with The Witcher. You know what I mean?
Right.
Atrax, you play so many games, you're immersed in every one of them.
Yep.
But to hear, like, him typing that makes me want to play it, even though I know that game isn't for me. Like, I want to go out and buy that game to support that dev team.
Yeah.
Even though I'm never going to play it.
Right. Yeah, understandable. I bought it. I think I didn't pre-order it, but I bought it pretty close to launch.
I'm done pre-ordering games.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not gonna. I haven't pre-ordered anything recently,
Yeah.
and I probably won't.
I don't think
ever.
I will. Nope.
The only way I'll pre-buy it is if, like, they say you can pre-download the game 2 days early, so then on launch day you can play it. Like, if I have, if
But you can do that anyway.
But some games offer early day access if you do pre-order the game.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Unless there's something like that, I'm not.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I guess.
Because, like,
It
let's
very
say
much depends for me.
all right, so let's say in the future, I beat Elden Ring and I love it, and they're coming out with a new DLC, and it's coming out on Tuesday, and, like, I magically have that day off, and I say, hey, because I've done it before, hey, I'm going to stream this game all day long.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then it's worth it to pre-purchase it. So you don't have to buy it the day of. You know what I mean? And download it.
Right.
Yeah, but you can.
You can't download it unless you pre-buy it.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
All right. Who's next?
It's Magus from a lot of different communities. Ripsick, Rye, all those good people.
Mm-hmm.
Magus says, my game of the year is also Baldur's Gate 3. I agree with everything Failsafe said above and would also like to add, it's the only game I've ever seen with a decade-long hype train that absolutely delivered. And also that it is such a game of the year, it made the Game Awards predictable, which is nuts when you look at its competition. A new Zelda game, a new Mario title, new Spider-Man, but we knew which game was going to win before it was even announced. And I kind of agree. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 stood out so much this year amongst everything else.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't know about the decade-long hype train, but when I saw, Baldur's Gate 3, whoa, that's the level of detail in the game, I knew for sure that it was going to be Game of the Year.
I think, was it Nick? Was it Nick or you, Atrax, that said, like, the Zelda game is Zelda 2? You know what I mean? Like, Breath of the Wild 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. So,
Right.
like, those games, and, like, Mario, let's face it, it's Mario. It's not like another
Yeah.
Super Mario RPG or
Yeah, right.
another Super Mario 64. It's just Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Alan
it's-
Wake 2 as well. Yeah.
Right, but, like, Alan Wake isn't a house, like, I don't want to say a household name. Like, that is, it's almost like a horror genre.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be into that creepy shit in order to like that game.
And Resident Evil 4, which
Right,
was
and that is
in my
super
opinion,
specific.
a garbage remake.
Right,
But-
but it's a remake.
Agreed.
A game of the year can't be a remake. You know what I mean? In my
Yeah.
opinion.
Unless they drastically redo stuff, but
But right, like
They
when
did.
Zelda Breath of the Wild, that is definitely game of the year
yeah, that makes sense.
because it was 100% innovative. It was brand new. Nick can't stop eating everybody.
Yeah, he's hungry.
It's addictive. The yeah, I agree. But I can see Breath of the Wild being game of the year because and that was the point I was trying to make talking about Tears of the Kingdom. It's like the cool innovative stuff that you get credit for came out in Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom having the same type of innovative like play style and elements, they added some new mechanics to it, but it's still essentially Breath of the Wild, like the cool like new style that it brought to Zelda, as a franchise. They get credit for all the awards that Breath of the Wild won already. So like, and same thing with Spider-Man PS4 versus Spider-Man 2. It's like, yeah, that's an awesome game. Of Spider-Man 2 is, but like the innovative, like the introduction to that like style that game has is from the first game. You know what I mean? Same thing with God of War Ragnarok versus God of War PS4. Like God of War PS4 won awards as well as it should have, but like, even me playing Ragnarok now, the graphics look better and they tweak some of the mechanics to make it a little more balanced and make gameplay feel fun, but nothing major. And so, it's really just caring. And honestly, and I'm not criticizing at all, right? Like I'm just talking about in Game of the Year awards. Like those are all great games, and I'm a big proponent of like if it's not broke, don't fix it. But because I've enjoyed all of those games. I liked Tears of the Kingdom, although I didn't finish it. I'm not super into the series for whatever reason. Breath of the Wild, or I like RPGs. Obviously, that's up my alley. But I don't know why I don't latch on to the two new Zelda games.
I can tell you why.
It's a Switch.
Because you're playing on a system that has hardware from 2007, and it looks like you're playing a game from 1996.
Yeah, that's pretty much it,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. It's hard. Like, there's no like even the controllers, like even the nice controller for a Switch feels terrible. It feels like the Mad Catz controller you gave like your neighbor when they came over to play video games, or your little brother or something. You know what I mean?
Switch is now like, in my mind, Switch is just the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it's just it's purely for vacations when I can take my other more bulky consoles.
Right. I totally agree. But yeah, I guess that's all I was saying.
Yeah.
How do you say this? Zephyrus?
Yeah, just say Zeph.
All right, we're going with Zeph. Zeph had an interesting choice, a different choice than the crowd so far. Zeph says, my game of the year is Armored Core 6. It was my first foray into the series, and it has been an absolute blast of fun, action, and storytelling. I am not familiar with this. Is this a tank game?
It's think like Titanfall, but without the pilots, like the pilot combat. So it's
Yeah, it's
just
mech
like the
combat.
Titans. Yeah, it's just mech.
Oh,
combat.
got it. Okay.
Mech
Well, that's
Warrior,
cool.
I think. Armored Core, Mech Warrior, something like that.
That's
I
sweet.
play the fuck out of Armored Core 2.
I know that also Zeph has been playing, now that they've released the PvP mode, Zeph has been having a ton of the fun with the PvP mode too. He mentioned it to
That's
me
cool.
a couple of days ago. So,
And shout out to Armored Core. It's the same people who made Elden Ring.
TK427's
From
home,
Soft?
everybody. Just scared the shit out of me.
Tell her to come on camera and say hi.
yeah.
I know, right? Oh, no, she's hiding. So, like, you ever feel like somebody's watching you? I just look over, and there's just
watching me.
eyes peering around the corner there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, like that. She just smacked her hand on the wall.
Hey, what you do,
creepy.
hey, is don't call it out. Is just put the camera towards the doorway and don't tell her because she's eventually
there
going to
you
peek
go,
around
yeah.
the corner.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
But anyway, so Zeph, that's a good,
It's a great pick.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I got Blood Princess. I'd say that I have 2 games of the year. One that is solo gameplay, and the other is multiplayer. For my solar, Pyre was a huge influence for me this year. I first saw it in a stream and fell in love with the art style and story. Pyre. How do you say it?
The Pyre. Like
Pyre,
fire,
okay.
but with a P.
Fire with a
Okay.
P. Yeah.
Pyre. The Pyre community is so welcoming and willing to help you learn if you're struggling with any aspect of the game. This has become a huge comfort game and is one of my top favorite games of all time. So
Wow.
I don't know what Pyre is. I'm going to have to look that up. Because before I move on to the multiplayer P.
It's like a
Like a
it's
deck builder?
It's a role playing. Yeah, it's like a deck
Indie RPG,
building
great soundtrack,
role-playing
story
game.
rich. I'm just checking it out.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, it's-
3 people have stopped listening to the audio because
Oh,
it's
sorry.
just radio silence.
Yeah, we just lost half of our listeners right there.
Why?
Yeah, it's only Matt Rivard listening on his commute.
Well, we're just memeing because we're oh Pyre. All right, immediately distracted, not even
Yeah.
thinking.
Well, I
about,
wanted to know what it
piece
was.
of candy.
Not
I
even
want it like
candy.
Yeah, not even thinking about our poor listeners.
Well, they're
Oh,
fine.
Man.
So
You
the
hear
game's art style reminds me a lot of Journey. If you ever play the game Journey,
Yeah,
like the hero's journey.
that's a great game.
Yep. For
I think
multiplayer,
Doc might like
Go
that
ahead.
game.
yeah, I think so too. For multiplayer, Blood Princess says I'd choose Apex Legends. Not for the game itself. I don't have a huge love for first-person shooters, and Apex is a struggle for me to enjoy without my friends. However, when I do get to play with friends, it is just a blast, and I can just forget that I'm absolutely trash at the game. That's how I am in Call of Duty.
I was just gonna say real quick. They've been doing private lobbies too, and I've joined some of those. It is so much fun. It's like Clan Night for Destiny 2, how you end with the private PvP, but
Yep.
it's with Apex, and it's mostly just TDM or gun run, but it is good times over there.
Sometimes that's the best.
Yeah. I can
I
see
love
why
that.
Apex would be your game of the year.
I love some local PvP with friends. That's fun.
Yeah.
Is it Marcus's turn or my turn or Atrax?
I think
forgot
Marcus
who's.
just went. I think it's
I
my
just
turn,
went.
isn't it?
Yep.
I believe so.
Rayu asks.
The overseer
Rayu
of the
doesn't
Nerds
ask.
Quebec.
This isn't working class questions. Rayu says for his game of the year, Wayfinder, Lost Ark, SWTOR, and of course, New World. Wayfinder. Despite the rocky launch and countless crashes, the game has a solid base. The combat is fun and unique, the characters are diverse, and there's enough of a challenge in the end that the game keeps me playing. That was
And
our
making
September
Wikipedia
game of the
entries.
month.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yes.
making wiki entries. He also does that.
Yes.
SWTOR says this will always be a game
Wait,
of
you
the year
skipped
for
one.
me.
What about New World?
I was saving it for the end.
Oh, okay.
Best for last,
Got it.
because he always says New World.
Yeah.
SWTOR, this will always be a game of the year for me. Nothing better than a Star Wars MMO. It keeps me coming back even after they may change things I don't agree with. And they've also changed companies, so you never know what the future of SWTOR is. It is looking hopeful. I'm hopeful for it. I came back for the Apex server for a little bit. I'd come back again
Totally.
for something else super cool. Lost Ark, Rayu says, compared to other ARPGs, this one just felt better. The time gating is nonsense, but I understand it's their way of keeping people coming back instead of rushing through the content. Combat and story are wonderful, and Lost Ark also looks really, really good too. And they
Sure.
because it's Amazon, Twitch runs a lot of drops, like community drops for streamers. So like if you're watching a streamer, then you get Lost Ark stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And finally, for Ryu's Game of the Year, New World. Combat feels amazing. They have fixed the gearing and made it simpler, harder dungeons, changed the play style, and Ryu has been spamming New World, trying to get everybody to play New World. So go join Ryu in New World.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw a funny Asmund Gold video, and he's like, why the Path of Exile 2 Alpha is better than Diablo 4. And they talked about Lost Ark, and he said that the hardest part of playing Lost Ark is the time gating.
Yep.
He said the game's amazing, but the time gating is terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that like for somebody who's not played Lost Ark? Like, they literally, you get to a certain point and they say, oh, you got to wait 5 hours to play the next story content or something? Or is it just like travel distances and stuff like
your
that?
cooldowns for raids and stuff that you can use to farm materials that you need to upgrade your stuff.
Yeah.
It's all time gated.
Okay,
Right, like you can't do this until this next mission until dawn.
Yeah.
But like the game
all right,
is
you beat
using
it, you gotta
24-hour
wait 6
clocks.
hours. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's annoying.
My turn. Goldie. I'd say Remnant 2 is kicking ass so far, but I'll have to see by the time I finish. Good for you playing that game. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty was fantastic. The new Call of Duty is absolutely underrated, as is with a fantastic zombies mode. Payday 3 was amazing too. I've only played a small piece of Cyberpunk, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's dope.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Cyberpunk looks great, but yeah. Is it Duff's? Oh,
Yeah,
to
Duff's
I
turn.
think it's your turn.
Sorry, I didn't. I wasn't sure if we were done talking about Goldie's entry. Duft says, as I said to Atrex on his stream, my game of the year 2023 is Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, the remake of the classic Harvest Moon on Game Boy Advance.
I remember Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, Harvest
What was
Moon
that?
it's still one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played Harvest Moon for GBA.
I played it mostly on GameCube, not so much Game Boy.
What was it? What was
But
it like?
I
Is that
did
like?
play-
I'm imagining like a Animal Farm. I mean, Animal Crossing kind of deal.
Pretty much, except instead of real time, it's game time. And you have
Okay.
like cows and chickens and you have a farm. So the idea is you move into a town and you're like the new farmer and you inherited your ranch from your grandpa, or you just come in and you buy a ranch and whatever. Then you pay off your debt to the local town or something. And basically the idea is you grow your farm. You start off with just a little bit of, some like places to grow vegetables or whatever. You grow your farm. Then as your farm grows, it attracts people to the town and more people show up, and, like you can get married to the characters and, like all that type of stuff. It's kind of like a farming lifestyle sim, if you will. It's a lot of
makes
fun
sense.
though. It's very cute. I wouldn't say it's a kid's game, but it's more that style, like it's very fun and lighthearted and all that stuff. I had a lot of fun. I played Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. That one was kind of not so wonderful. That one felt kind of empty, but Friends of Mineral Town,
Not so wonderful.
Friends of Mineral Town I have on my Switch, and that one's a lot of fun. Who's our last?
Sweet.
My
who's our
turn?
last? Oh yeah. We have
we got a few
couple
more.
Never mind.
Mei Long says Lotro, Diablo 4, and Hogwarts Legacy. Lord of the Rings Online, Standing Stone Games is continuing to do some amazing things with the game. New stories, zones, raids, and smaller group size stuff. Great community-led stuff always happening. Diablo 4, great story and some really fun stuff to continue to challenge what you can do when you hit max level. And Hogwarts Legacy, Story is really good in open world Harry Potter that some gamers and Harry Potters have wanted for years. I agree to that. I feel like people have really wanted a Harry Potter game, but in the terms,
there's a bunch of terrible old ones,
right? But like
Yeah.
this game needed to come out 10 years ago,
Yeah, like during the hype. Not,
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
people
that's the
love
hard
it,
part.
but it's I read the books and I love them, but like it did not make me want to play this game.
Yeah. Speaking of Harry
Understandable.
Potter, actually, Taylor and I have been watching. She's never seen the Harry Potter series, so we've been watching them as we've been, not stuck inside, but like had more free time. We just watched the fifth one.
All right.
So far, so good.
Do you want me to do Rack Evan?
No. Rack
Okay.
Evans says Baldur's Gate 3 and Diablo 4. That's it.
All right.
How do you say this person's
Forzer.
name? Forzer says Lies of P is my game of the year. Did you guys play Lies of P?
Yeah. It's
I saw it get nominated
it's a
for things, but-
Souls-like based off of Pinocchio. Well, loosely
Is that the
based
game?
off Pinocchio.
Is that the game I played at PAX?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
That was in Austria.
Jetpacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game
Got
fucked me
it.
up too. But Eflux from the chat says, but what if Elden Ring does what Elder Scrolls V Skyrim did and releases Elden Ring then the ultimate definitive anniversary infinite VR/Siri mode now with collaborations with Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, and Lego Edition? Wow, that's a mouthful.
I will address one thing. If they released Elden Ring VR, I would 100% play through that. That would be wild.
That would be wild. That'd be cool. I like any
That would
games
be
in VR.
crazy.
Dude, there's
I'd
no
have
way
to
I could
sit-
do it.
Dude, I'd have to save up and get an Oculus for Marcus just to watch him play Elden Ring VR.
I
So
couldn't
he could
do it.
he could break his Oculus and like his wall at the same time.
Listen,
Dude.
all joking aside, okay? All fucking joking aside, I have not rage quit this time around.
True, you haven't. That's true.
impressive. And hey, happy 6th year anniversary.
Yeah. Yay.
That's so crazy.
And shout out to everybody who wrote for the game of the year and who supported the game of the month. The new thing for the show. We're going to keep it going this next year. There's going to be, well, I guess it'd be technically 11 because December is kind of like we talk about the game of the year.
Right.
But, I don't know. I like this format so far, and if you have any suggestions for Game of the Month, go put it in the Game of the Month section of the Discord. We'd love to hear all of your suggestions, what you've been playing, what you like to play, all that good stuff.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.